Good evening, you all. Welcome to the club. So nice to have you all here tonight. Thelma asked me to do a little recitation for you, so I'd like to do it now and get it over with, and then we'll have a few drinks later on. It's a very serious recitation. It was written by Clement Moore. The title of it is A Visit from St. Nicholas. We know it, Winnie, by the title of The Night Before Christmas. So with your kind indulgence, I'd like to recite it for you. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The children were hung by the the stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar heads ran through their plums. Sugar plums ran through their heads. And I in my kerchief, and Mom in her cap, had just settled our brains for a long winter's whatchamacallem. We was gonna have sex. No, a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn, there rose such a clatter. I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window, I flew like a flash, threw open the shutters, threw up the sash. I was sick. Moon Music by Debussy. The moon on the breast, and I use the word loosely, of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below. When? What to my wondering eye should appear but a miniature sleigh and 9 tiny reindeer. He made the 9th one. It was a sexy reindeer, had a red nose, got into everybody's business, and they loved it. We nicknamed him Pokey. He was hitched up to Hokey. 8 tiny reindeer. And a little old driver, so lively and quick. I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. Get all slopped up, forget my saints. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came. And he whistled and shouted and called them names. He whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on the road to They got lost. It's hard as hell dragging a sled through sand. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, and a dash of paprika. It's good for any tossed salad. Hurricane music. As dry leaves before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle mount, and that's a Western expression. It's also an Eastern expression. Well, it's an expression anyway. To the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew. I love this part, it's fluing music. I'll do that again. I'll try it once more. It tickles my index finger. I learned this from a floozy. He taught it to me backwards. With the sleigh full of toys and Santa Claus too. And then in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and the pawing of each little hoof. That's British for hoof. As I drew in my, what's that thing? As I drew in my head, I was turning around. Down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a close friend of his. She was dressed all in fuzz, from her head to her was. No. He was dressed all in fur, from his head to his feet. And his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and sleet. It don't rhyme with soot, but you got to put it in. That's what they call poetic license. Soot and a bundle of toys he had flung on his back. And he looked just like a peddler that's opening his pack of pack. Then I describe his eyes. His eyes, how they twinkled. His dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, and his nose like a what-you-call-'em. His droll little mouth was all drawn up with alum. His droll little mouth was all drawn up like a bow, while the beard on his chin was as white as the driven snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, while the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work. Then, filling all the stockings, he turned with the same friend that came down the jerk, and laying his finger alongside of his nose and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his slate, to his team gave a whistle. He was very generous, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all, buenas noches." He was Spanish. You know, in America, a lot of times habit makes us do things that we do. And habit is a very peculiar thing. We learn to do things by habit, and we just can't get out of habits. So this is a song that has something to do with what habits do to you. It's hard to stop a habit when you start one, for habit is a funny thing, you see. It's an easy thing to make, but a hard thing to break. But without it, we are lost to some degree. Once you form your habits, they compel you to do the very things you do. Habit is a funny thing, I tell you. Let me show you what some habits do. When the whistle blows, it's 12 o'clock. When it's 12 o'clock, we eat. No matter if we're working in the middle of the street, or washing clothes, or baking pies, or standing in a tub. When the whistle blows, it's 12 o'clock. When it's 12 o'clock, we grub, like the English tea at 4, or the dinner date at 8. At cards at 3, it's plain to see we can't be late. When the whistle blows, it's 12 o'clock. When it's 12 o'clock, we eat. No matter what we're doing, when it's 12 o'clock, we eat. In the middle of her wedding day, she was walking down the aisle. She heard that whistle far away, and how it made her smile. She knew that it was 12 that day. She had that little hunch. She stopped and dropped her big bouquet and took time out for lunch. In the middle of the aisle, in the middle of the aisle. A dining room for the bride and groom in the middle of the aisle. The people cried, "Come on, you bride," with all their might and main. Get that groom a-going down that center aisle again. Verse 3. Parson Brown came into town on a dark and stormy night. Susie Q was with him too, and my, was she a sight. The road was a dark and bumpy one, and wet from the rain above. The parson didn't mind at all, for he was deep in love. The man, of course, had trained that horse to stop when he heard a toot. The poor old parson plumb forgot when he took out his old tin flute. He started to play in a wistful way to please his Susie Q. The horse done what he should have done. He stopped when the whistle blew. Adam and Eve were the first two that ever fell in love. They didn't pay attention to that whistle up above. They hadn't formed the habit of stopping when they should, and every day they loitered in the middle of the woods, in the middle of the woods, in the middle of the woods. There they sat and had a little chat in the middle of the woods. She cried, "You brute, you heard that toot, why didn't you refrain?" She was mad and he was glad and she was raising Cain. It's where I want to be, where boys and girls together dance around the maple tree, and I can buy some popcorn and candy at the park, or listen to a concert or two, or take a bus down Broadway with you, or sit and spark till after dark. It's all New York for me. We were riding and riding through the hot desert sands. Oh, how hot. We came to a little village. Little Ubanganese village. Nothing personal in that remark, madam. I came to a tupu, a puti, a tiapu, a tent. The tent had a great big zipper up the front. I unzipped the zipper, knocked on the flap and said, "How do? Anybody home?" And a Ubanganese voice answered, "Uh-huh." It was the chief of the village. I said, "Hi, chief, this is me. How are you?" He said, "Fine, thank you. Come in." I came in. I said, "Chief, understand you have a very beautiful daughter." "That's right," said the chief. I said, "What's her name?" He said, "Ooh, ooh." That's Ubanganese for Louise. I said, "Chief, what's your name?" He said, "Ah." Translated, John. He was a tall man. We nicknamed him Long John. For what reason, I will never know. I said, "Chief, I'd like to have a date with your daughter." He said, That clipped me right off the bat. I said, "Chief, then may I sing a little ditty to your daughter?" He said, "Yeah, go ahead, shoot the works." And I said, "Okay, I'll do it." And I sang this little song to his daughter. This is underneath a Ubanganese tree that I sang this. Oh, come along with me down to the old swimming, and I hate to use this word in public, hole. Come on and be a kid again. But don't forget to bring along your fishing pole underneath the tree. From cares you're gonna be free. It's great to lie on the bank and, honey, look at the sky. Let the rest of the world go by, and if you get too warm, we'll dive right into the pool. We'll feel so nice and so cool. We'll forget about home, sweet home and mother. Bathing suits are out of style, just a coat of tan and a great big smile. We was naked when we all go to the old swimming. Oh, here we go again. Home. Mr. Christian. Mr. Christian, bring that man here. He is a rebel. He is vulgar. Cut off his head. Cut off his arms. Cut off his legs. What's that hanging? Cut that off too. Or should I have said dangling? There is a little house, a funny little house, where the people come from all around. They're as happy as can be as they sit beside the sea, while the music goes round and round. They can sing a little tune as they sit beneath the moon at the close of a carefree day. The moon is shining bright on this little house tonight. We will sing a song to pass the time away. I'm gonna meet you on the beach tomorrow morning, say a little after 10. I'm gonna greet you on the beach tomorrow morning. I'm gonna pop that question again. I gotta sit beside the sea, beside my sweetie, while the waves come rolling in. I'm gonna meet you on the beach tomorrow morning. Darling, sink or swim. Oh yeah, I'm gonna meet you on the beach tomorrow morning, say a little after 10. I'm gonna meet you on the beach tomorrow morning. I'm gonna pop that question again. Gotta sit beside the sea, beside my sweetie, while the waves come rolling in. I'm gonna meet you on the beach tomorrow morning. Darling, sink or swim.